We're gonna play some video games today. So here's what I'm gonna need you to do. I'm gonna need you to grab, I don't know, 5 pieces. Give me 5 pieces. Yeah, let's get it. Make sure you send the link out to them. Get them a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I also want you to subscribe. It's the first time here. Subscribe to our content. Why? Because that's what we do here. We play video games. We play more video games. And we play video games. So that's the right here. I gotta ask you before we do. Are you ready? Because if so, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, fish and birds, I don't care if you're an alien. You are about to enter the show.
What is going on, guys? What is going on? It is good to see you guys. Good to see you. I'm always doing this. I'm starting my show and forgetting to unmute the mic. What is going on? Como está? Me amistades. Hoy es un día spectacular. He says I'm fired. Today is a great day. Why? Because you're alive. I'm alive. We're all here, and we are going to do it. We are going to get in the building. We're going to enjoy this day. So listen, you know what I love to say? Vida es un partido. Vamos jugar. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to jump right in. First, I want you guys to know I did pin the StreamYards. Anybody can join at any point in time. But before we start bringing people in, let's go ahead. Let's share it on Twitter. So go ahead. We're going to tell people right now we are live and in full EFFECT. Come hang out. And I don't know. I'm going to try to tag some random people today. We'll see. We'll see who comes and plays in the group today. Let's see. We're going to tag Lion. Cool with Lion. So because it's This Is Lion, I think, right? I think it's This Is Lion. We're going to tag Lion. See what he's doing. I think I'm going to tag Lion. Ah, man, I can never find his thing. Wow, it's you know what? Whatever. We're not tagging anybody. I give up on the tagging of people. Just go ahead and tweet it out, share it out. We're gonna have a blast today. All right. So, like I said, life is a game. Make sure you play. We're gonna jump right into the show at any point in time. Anybody can join. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I have to start the show on kind of a rough note today. You guys know when I got into streaming, we started this thing called Monday Night Fights. And there's this gentleman who is in the building right now. Actually, Ideal, he is here. Ideal comes and he fights and he hangs out with us and he has a blast with us. And Ideal and his family got some very, very disturbing news yesterday. Some very upsetting news. Ideal, they lost Ideal's wife's father, and it's a bad season. You know, it's Christmas, inflation's all over the place, and you know, we have to start a GoFundMe. So I'm asking any of you guys who are seeing this, if you're watching this on the restream, please, I'm gonna go ahead, I'll copy the link. I'm gonna link it to the description of this actually. So please, I'm gonna post it in the link right now. If you can, go and donate anything. Let's try to help this family get through this tough time. It's sad enough they lost somebody, but to lose them 4 days before Christmas is that's heartbreaking. That's really heartbreaking. So you know, if you guys can give, if you can, please. If you can't, we understand. But hey, you know, just show your support. Ideal, I want you to know, everybody who's here, we're with you. We're with your family. You're in our thoughts. You're in our prayers. And, you know, hopefully we'll be annoying you on Monday. If not, I mean, obviously we completely, clearly understand. But, you know, we just want to be there for you. We want to be able to be family for you. If you need us, please reach out, whether it be through Twitter, a direct message. However, just know we got your back. We're in your corner. All right. All right, guys. Let's try to take it from there and move it on to a lighter, higher note. Let's see who we got in the building. Lethal's in the building. What is going on, Lethal? Good to see you. Ideal is here early. That is awesome. Cowboy's in the building. He's saying no sound, but we know that's because everything that Cowboy owns is broke. Lethal just fired Cowboy. Rock is in the building. Rock, I might have a surprise for you around noon tomorrow, but I can't say for sure, but I think I might have a surprise for you around noon. I know what you sent me, so I might be able to join tomorrow. I'm going to try to take lunch tomorrow so I can join the show and be a part of the panel and talk and hang out with you guys. Sanchez is in the building. Yo, Obi. Yo, Sanchez. It is good to see you. Good to see you. He says, I will be annoying him if he makes it on Monday. Cowboy, thank you. Also, Cowboy did put it in his Cowboy threw it out in his Discord as well. Anybody who is willing to add to the GoFundMe, it's on Cowboy's Discord. It's on my Discord. We really appreciate it coming together at a time like this to help out. That's a beautiful thing. So, Cowboy, you won't be annoying anybody. Just throwing that out there right now. All right, guys. With that being said, let's go ahead. We got a whole bunch of news. I kind of want to jump around. Oh, I know what I said I was going to talk about first today. So I got to go to the top of the time feed. So this is the first thing I want to talk about. I think this is really, really cool. I got this message earlier. Hands-on with Sony's DualSense Edge, the $200 PS5 gamepad by The Verge. Now, I have yet to completely read this, but I'm going to pull this over here, and we are going to take a look at this. This is going to be really, really cool. So we got hands-on with the PS5 Sony DualSense Edge. They actually have a YouTube. Let's go ahead. Oh, we got a 5-minute video. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Let's take a look at this.
Quite a bit. The Sony DualSense Edge lets you easily
look at
rotate
this.
its entire joystick modules.
Oh, wow.
If they ever develop drift. You can swap out its stick tops for classic convex domes.
Yo, check that out. I didn't realize this was how you did it.
You can remap practically every button in this control. Adjust vibration strength. Turn off system
Wow,
keys
vibration strength. Check this out.
Rear pedals let you jump or duck or roll or you name it.
A jump, a duck, or a roll. Might need that in Tekken.
Hold down one of these dedicated function keys, and you can swap between 3 programmable profiles you can take for a house or a tournament. Where you might also use this clever USB-C locking adapter and include.
Gonna add Cowboy to the stream. What's going on, Cowboy? Good to see you. We're taking a look at this DualSense Edge.
As far as I can tell.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Right here. Have you seen this controller yet?
The same shape.
Yeah, I seen a video. I seen a trailer when they showed it like a month ago or something like that.
All right, so I think we're seeing this. I think we can cut the video here. I think this is good. We're not going to watch all 5 minutes of the video, but I think this is a really okay. So first, I want to say this. I'm gonna look into this article real quick. This is the first thing that stands out to me. This controller is $199.99. Cowboy, you're an avid video game player. You're decent in some games. You're all right. Nobody's mad at you. Do you think this controller is worth $200?
Yeah, if you're into those, so remember they have premium controllers called Scuff controllers where you could do all this stuff they're doing. Sony is just finally making their own brand. So if you're into this stuff, it's not for the average and casual gamers, right? This is like a Scuff controller. You know, a Scuff controller's been around for a while. They got triggers at the bottom of the controller, stuff that we're not used to if you never held the Scuff controller. So they're expensive. I mean, they're expensive. So if you're familiar with those stuff, it's worth it. If you're just a guy that never put a Scuff controller in your hand, then it probably you wouldn't even care about the benefits it does. So
okay. So will you be buying one?
No, I never even touched the Scuff controller. I knew they existed, but I just never. It was like I feel like the R2, L1, L2, like they all feel great to me. And I wonder if it would really feel that much better if like my pinky finger and my ring finger could actually like touch buttons. So wow. I feel like it costs too much for me to.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Can we back up real quick? Did you really just say if your pinky and ring finger can touch buttons?
Yeah. So when you hold it in your hand, usually you use your pointer.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, what is
you know what I mean?
Talking about? Oh, we got Holtz in the building. Let's add Holtz to the conversation. Holtz, it is good to see you. Give me 1 second. I'm just trying to get my mouse over here. Holtz, good to see you. Glad you could make it, brother. Glad you could make it. How you doing today?
I was rushing to get on the show, and then I didn't get no sound output. And then when you'd actually panic, you're like, "Oh, what settings should I click?" And I was like, "Oh." So I was a bit worried.
Don't worry. Hey, Holtz, don't worry. Rose didn't get any sound earlier today either. So
yeah, I was. So it's funny. I wanted to do my whole intro in Spanish, and I was like, I'm not going to practice it. I'm just going to say it, and I did it. but the whole thing was muted. And I was like, I'm not doing this again. I'm trying to work on my Spanish skills. So on Monday of next week, I'll try again. You know, we'll get it perfect one day. And I'm like, everybody put 100 in the chat because I got it right.
Well, when I recorded Attack on Titan, the game, I thought, you know, I'm going to say some Japanese words like, you know, die, I'm going to go for the neck. And I was naming the body parts and naming the characters and saying all this brilliant stuff. And then I recorded it and played back. I never got no sound. I never recorded. I never flipped the microphone. And I was like, do it again. I just felt so disheartened going, there's always something, isn't it? There's always that.
It sounds like you and Rose hang out together often.
Yeah, we're having microphone issues. So Holtz, let me ask you a question. What do you think about this $200 controller from Sony? It's as Cowboy put it, it is Sony's version of the Scuff controller. This thing is going to have everything. Like you can change the textures, you can change the buttons. You can make one joystick big. You can change the joysticks. Like you can do a lot with this. 3 different trigger setting points, programmability. Like you can program this for any game. Apparently there's going to be a PC support. I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
I always love having the options to have more flexibility and customization in controllers for the people that like to have like the extra buttons on the back, or like they want to put like certain weights in the controller and change it. I love that idea because there's rarely games out there that feel they want the elite premium experience. So it's great that it's out for them. Me, I've never bought a elite Xbox controller or anything else at that budget range because I feel like I don't need anything else in my controller that's not already in the default DualShock.
Yeah.
DualSense, sorry. So I feel like it's great for them people that want it all. But to me, I'm like, it's too fiddly because I'm one of the people that I'll be like, oh, wow, look at this. I can take the thumbstick out. It's magnetic. And one day I'll probably drop it, lose pieces. And it'd be like a jigsaw piece that one day you'd be like, where's me X button gone?
Yeah. So here's the thing. So I like the idea of this. I'm in both of your boats. And at any point in time, you guys can stop me. But I like this.
Stop.
My issue was stop. All right, I stopped.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, okay. My issue is this. I feel like I'm getting into fighting games a lot more, and I want to compete at a tournament level. I feel like this is a hitbox in a controller, and I could be wrong. But I feel like that's what this is, like being able to customize the buttons. But I do wonder, and I did ask this question earlier. Can this be used at a tournament level, say like Call of Duty tournament levels? Because I feel like this is really, really going to take advantage of those players who are first-person shooters, play Call of Duty, and it's more or less this controller is keeping them away from the Xbox in a way.
Well,
because we all know
here's
Xbox
the thing.
Here's
the thing. If you go to a tournament and they allow you to use an arcade stick, is that allowed?
Yeah, they allow you to use arcade. Yeah, you're allowed to use arcade sticks.
But there you go.
Well, does anyone actually do some testing to actually see you haven't illegally configured your controller to actually cheat? Do people in these game shows actually do that?
I have no idea. I've always wondered that because so like I'm getting big on the hitbox. I really want a hitbox. And like the way I'm understanding the hitbox is like, okay, so you can even use an arcade stick. So like if you have an arcade stick and you hit diagonal forward twice and you push like the punch button, so you know in a fighting game you have well, let's say like Street Fighter, you have a low, a medium, and a heavy, right? So if you hit like diagonal forward twice, and you hit like the heavy or the low punch or even the medium punch, you're gonna get the dragon punch from Ryu or Ken. But on a controller, you physically have to do a quarter circle input. Now you can also do a quarter circle input on a joystick as well, but it's easier to just tap diagonal forward. I don't think anybody's checking for that in a competitive level. You know what I mean? Like, but that is very interesting, and I know that for a fact.
Because I would think that would be cheating. That if I mapped my certain buttons to have macros that actually had like a diagonal dash, high kick, low kick, and it's done a certain move with one press of a button, I think that would be cheating.
I don't think you can I don't think you can map like say like special moves, like a dragon punch or a fireball. I don't think you can map that, but you can map certain things like jump cancels, I believe. So like if you're playing like Dragon Ball Z Fighters and you start a combo, light, or light, and then you would go down medium into a standing medium. Then to continue that combo, you would down heavy and you would jump cancel. You could just, instead of hitting 2 buttons or diagonal up on your controller, you can literally just push a button on a, say, hit pad, and that will work for you. But I don't know if that's necessarily cheating. Now in a game like Tekken, say like you want to map like a punch or 2 punches, or you can do that too. So like when I play Tekken, and just to show you my controller, my top 2 right here, these are my throw buttons. So my left, my L1 and my L2, they're my throw buttons. I have those mapped, but this controller allows me to map it. So I'm thinking, if you allow me to map on this controller, then why would you not allow me to map on any other controller, and why would it be considered cheating?
It's just probably maybe the customized. That's sometimes I was just thinking that if it had macros and it has all this stuff that you can actually do with it, what was stopping a person saying, "Well, this has got more customization"? Well, and you walked into an event and went, "No one's going to actually quality check this controller," and then there's me like.
So I think the thing is being able to map movements, right? So in Tekken, when you go to tournaments, you can map 2 buttons press, right, which is a grab. Right? Mm-hmm. You can map 2 buttons press, which is a harder type of strike, right? Mm-hmm. But you can't map forward, down, forward, and a button. So I don't think it's threatening, because it's not like you could press 1 button. Now, what they do allow you to map is that what are the supers and called the what are they called?
The rage arts. You can map a rage art in Tekken.
So you can do that, but they allow you to do.
We lost him.
As Cowboy went robotic.
I have no idea if he went underwater, if the Decepticons came and got him.
Yeah,
but the Decepticons definitely came and got Cowboy. Cowboy, give us a signal. Do we need to send Optimus Prime after you? I think we need to send Optimus Prime. He's still going in and out.
We need to save the cowboy. You know, just often go like, not even do Optimus Prime, like, but, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, he is humanity's last hope.
He's humanity.
He's Sam Witwick. They're gonna get cowboy on his glasses as imprinted something.
That's funny. That is hilarious. He really messed up. All right, so we're gonna go ahead. We'll wait for Cowboy. I'll leave this up as we wait for Cowboy to come back. But we're gonna just kind of jump back on. That was one of the first news. To me, I feel like
if you've got the money and you like premium products and you like sort of the build quality, then by all means, that's what it's there for. It's for you as that gamer who feels like you need a little bit more. But I feel like if that's the case, just go to PC, for example.
So the only reason I own a PC gaming laptop and not a full rig, as people like to call it, and I think the 49, I think we definitely lost Cowboy. I think he'll be back though. But I think they call it the 4090. I think that's like the big thing that everybody's talking about, is simply because I don't want to wait years for a game. Like, and this is a perfect segue. Harry Potter. How long until Harry Potter comes out on PC? Is it gonna be 2 years? Is it gonna be 3 years?
Well, Sony's got the exclusives, hadn't it, for a while, so. Yeah,
that's and I'm like, I can't go through that. But this is perfect. You're a Harry Potter fan, correct?
Yes, I am a big, huge Harry Potter fan.
Okay,
so
have you seen this news? Hogwarts Legacy developers showed off Dark Art Battle Arena and areas including the deluxe version of the game that gives you free reign to use Avada. I don't know if I'm saying this right. Kadavra, Crucio, and other curses. You can use these spells in the main game, so you can basically murder and torture people in this game. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's a bit. I mean, it depends, you know, how they portray the spell. So, you know, you are Agadabra, for example, and is the person going to die straight away and it just says game over, or is it going to be the most gruesome death where you do it to me and then I'm like like for like 2 hours screaming in a painful death, and these young kids are like, "Mommy, what was that all about?" You murdered the guy in the most painfulest way, and I just wanted to win the fight. So in the end, they got to portray it in a tasteful way where we know that it's a dark spell, but please don't make it too gory, because there's going to be young kids that are going to.
I see what you're saying. Like, you're okay with it, but you don't want to see like God of War quality spells.
Yeah, you know what I
Like-
mean? So so if someone does like the torture spell, you know, would that be me going, I'll be swearing, I'll be cursing, please,
Yeah.
stop it.
They would have they'd have to like show like, oh, this person's afraid of spiders, and then like this torture spell
and
just let spiders run over them, opposed to like their head exploding or something, like cutting
just,
off fingers and
he died of shock and just left it at that. None of this like big CGI dramatic scene.
Yeah. So this is while we're on Harry Potter, I want to ask you this. I'm assuming you're excited for the game. This is a day one for me.
I've already pre-ordered it for the PlayStation 5.
Okay, so you're in the same boat as me. This is my only gripe, and I hope they fix this. To me, I feel like this should be a massive multiplayer game. Not or you can kind of not so big as like World of War, but like maybe on a micro level, like Dark Souls, where you can have like 3 or 4 people running around in a house together on a certain team together enjoying the game. That's like my biggest gripe with this. Like, I think it's going to be an amazing game, but how much better would it be if I'm like, yo, Holtz, you trying to go and take on House of Slytherin right now? Or you'd be like, yeah, why not? You know, like
one's at the ready, the boys are
Yeah.
one's at the ready, the boys are back in town. Come on.
Boys back to town. Yeah, you know.
just shout some weird name. Holtz, that's not
Oh,
a spell.
man.
Shut up, we're trying to look cool.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. But tell me it wouldn't be cool, right? Like that would be so.
And who knows? Maybe that once, if this game sells and actually sort of gets the accolades that they deserve, maybe they'll actually focus. There was a need for this kind of open world Harry Potter.
Yeah, and that's
we've got MMOs, haven't we? Where that it's roughly are wizards and magic and dragons and that. So I don't know what would be the difference. We'll just have the name Hogwarts attached to it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and that's my thing. I'm like, I feel like I'm trying to think of the name of the game. It's not Squidditch. Is it Squidditch? What's the game they play in Harry Potter? Please forgive me. My Quidditch. I'm sorry. My Harry Potter knowledge is bad right now. I feel like even that in itself, how great would that be? Me, you, and Cowboy getting on a game of Quidditch right now. Like, you know, when the game, that would be something that I think would be really, really cool.
That would be cool.
Well,
Cowboy, I think.
Do you ever see Final Fantasy X when he done the underwater game?
Oh yeah, and you got the jet shot, shot,
and stuff like that. Blitzball.
What is it? Bounce ball, speech ball, speedball,
blitzball. So in the end, if you done something like that with Quidditch, where you sort of flew round, but then the defenders or something like that sort of engaged it, then it stopped for a second, then you chose a move. Should I tackle them? Should I use a spell? Should I shoot? Should I hit and then the game carries on, but it stop, start. I would like that approach. Then the whole
you're talking
idea
like a turn-based approach, opposed to like more
you
action.
can still move around the arena, high, low, chasing and stuff, but in the end, the game will stop for an instant while a person does like an attack or a defense or whatever, and then the game resumes. Then actually having this big, huge, over the top flying around on brooms. And
I'll say this: my whole thing when I see Quidditch on this is better be Rocket League on steroids with broomsticks. Okay, that's it. That's what I'm looking for. It better be Rocket League on steroids. Cowboy, how you feeling about this? You can actually murder and torture people in the Hogwarts game. You have any thoughts on that?
I mean, my not issue, but I like violent stuff, so that's cool to me, you know.
Okay, so he wants to see us torture people, like
yeah.
You'd be yelling out spells and like ripping people's blood's gonna be all over the screen. Like
it's gonna be like walking around killing all the level 1 noobs just for a point. Remember, this is my school.
Now, but it's a single player game though, right?
Yeah, and that was what I was saying was my gripe. I think the only thing that's gonna suck about this game is the fact that it is a single player game. I think that's going to be horrible.
Missed opportunity.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it takes to make a game multiplayer. Apparently Gotham was multiplayer, but it wasn't released until like a month later. So I don't know if that's something they can do later. You know what I mean? Like I really have no idea.
So here's the thing. When you think of games, right, you always hear these praises for single player games. And like, all right, I'm a Marvel Avengers fan, right? And you know what everybody say? Oh, Insomniac Spider-Man is so amazing. They should have made Marvel Avengers. I'm like, that would be cool. But remember, that's a single player game. We need to see Insomniac make a multiplayer game. So I think Harry Potter.
Wait, wasn't Sunset Overdrive a multiplayer game?
Never played that garbage. But
Yeah.
so the thing is,
Whoa.
Sunset
Stop,
Overdrive
stop,
was
stop.
amazing.
Stop,
Absolutely
stop,
amazing.
stop. Cowboy, stop. Cowboy. I'm not even, I don't have the time. I don't have the time to explain to you how good this game is. All I'm gonna say is this. I believe it's still on Xbox. And
Right.
you don't have bro, you gotta play Sunset Overdrive. And be honest, well, you kind of technically already have played it if you played Marvel's The Spider-Man, in a sense. But I'm gonna look into it and see if Sunset Overdrive
I did play it when it was on xCloud. I got to play it for a little bit.
that game was
It's
great.
yeah, it pretty much, so I think my thing was, I just always, now look what the question was you asked me. You said, oh, would you like if you could torture people? I got excited. I'm a little older. Like my cartoons when I was young, they wasn't silly. I mean, yeah, there was some silly stuff, but G.I. Joe people, I mean, like the silly slap you in the back of the head and your eyes get big. That was the next like generation, right? Unless you was watching like Looney Tunes, right? But I had enough serious cartoons that I grew up wanting serious content. So when I see stuff like that Sunset Overdrive, it just reminded me of a Jet Set Radio kind of like that I wasn't even interested in. So I've always been more in. But
what was I actually thinking is that if the spells became dark and twisted and they became really gory to cater for the older audience like Cowboy, then the age rating will go up. And then if anyone's seen Harry Potter Legacy at 18, the mums and dads and everyone's going to get pitchforks. Like, it's aimed at a certain audience, and then we'll be like, but it is what it is, isn't it? So I feel like you have to dumb it down a little bit to cater for that audience.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, it's one of those things, at least for me, where, well, one, I just looked it up. Sunset Overdrive was actually 8-player co-op. And there was a mode called Chaos Squad. So that was, man, you missed out on Sunset Overdrive. I'm not gonna lie. I understand wanting to see gore, that's your thing. I get that. But it's Harry Potter. like
no, that's fine. I mean,
that happened was
to be fair,
book. Like,
guys, Harry Potter, the first movie, is so magical that after that it just becomes so dark and twisted, doesn't it? Like when Voldemort comes back and all that. So I can see like why legacy fans like us would like a certain dark nuance to certain things, but I just don't think you can go above and beyond.
No, it makes more sense if they make it where all ages can play. So here's the thing. This is why I always talk to people, and I hear gamers say, I don't care about the money, and that ain't my issue, and I get that, and that's fine. And people say, oh, you're a consumer. You're not a business person. That's true. But instead of me banging my head on the wall because Harry Potter might not be dark, I understand why they would make it
not be dark.
No, that's think about it, right? I understand. Wow, I didn't. Well, I understand why they would make it so they can make more money and it could be open to more gamers. Like look at Fortnite. If Fortnite was like a gritty, violent game, they would not be the success it is right now.
Well, that's because it's a completely different audience. Fortnite kind of catered to, and I'm not saying that grown people who play the game are kids, but Fortnite kind of catered to kids at first, right? And then like dads and brothers and sisters had to sit there with their children and play the game, and they were like, man, I'm good at Call of Duty. And like the Call of Duty crowd quickly became the Fortnite crowd, and then it was just like an intermingle, and it was great. So I understand what you're saying. Fortnite is never going to go that dark. And to Holtz's point, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to scream and shout about it. But I feel like in the video game world, and this kind of, Cowboy, you got to cover your ears for this. You know what? I won't mention any names. This kind of segues into something I want to talk about a little later in the show in the WWE. You got to plant your foot somewhere. And once you plant your foot somewhere, you got to take it, whether you like it or not. I think there needs to be a happy medium. You need to be able to see some blood, right? If you're torturing and murdering people. But you don't need to see like you can see, and I'm going to use two different games. You can't have God of War quality like killing in Hogwarts, but you can kind of almost have like Demon Souls or Bloodborne, because you can do the thing where you get the perfect parry and it just stabs them and it takes a lot of their life. You know what I mean? So like you could do something like that,
I would love to see a live show like with Cowboy and he does like a spell and then the person just blows up. The motherfucker just blew up. Like, it's a. I never
blood is all over
expected
the
this
screen
game.
like Mortal Kombat. Oh, that would be great. That would be great. But I'm just saying, I feel like they got to choose. You know who I think got it right, but it's a little on the darker tone, was that Lord of the Rings game. The Lord of the Rings kind of.
Oh, Shadow of Mordor.
Shadow of Mordor 1
Yeah.
and 2. They kind of tinkered on the line. Like, if Harry Potter follows that, I think Harry Potter is going to be fine, guys. I really do. All right. Anybody got any final comments before we move on Harry Potter, the DLC, or not the DLC, the multiplayer and/or the gore?
I think ethically it'll only be Slytherin players that will sort of be using. I know you can use dark arts, but I don't think everyone's going to be going out their own way, are they? Because if you had the ethics of a house class, then you're never going to be using that spell in the first place.
So you know what? I'm glad you said that. Is it going to be one of those things, or I wonder if it's going to be one of those things where like only the classes that use those dark art spells can use those? You know what I mean?
Like,
I think you kind of just said that. Like,
well,
you know what I mean?
There's a morale compass, like, in the games that we used to play.
Yeah,
with,
in Metal Gear Solid 5 with Big Boss. Like, the more evil stuff you did, the horn would grow out of his head. But if you did like good stuff, the horn would shrink back. It's like, oh wow, that's crazy. But then you could get to a point of no return where your horn just it gets to a certain point and there's nothing you can do. So I wonder if it's going to be anything like that. How about you, Cowboy? Anything else on this one?
No, that's about it. I mean, I will say this: I did watch every Harry Potter. I just never seen a Fantastic Beasts, so it's not like I'm not privy to the world.
So,
I'm a fan, but I've seen them all because my ex-wife was a big fan, so I had to go to the movies and see each one. So but it's cool.
The one Harry Potter movie that I never saw was the final Harry Potter movie. And the reason being, I didn't know at the point in time, but I had a flat TV, and the flat TV, I guess they have these things called black lights. I didn't know that. My black light went. So anything, it literally, like, you just, if you close your eyes, that's what it looked like trying to watch the movie. So all I got to do was like hear it, and I have yet to go back and watch it. Now I will say this: after I think it was the Goblet of Fire. I think it was the next one after that. I for sure didn't understand what was happening. I mean, they was in a car, they was in London. I was like, yo, what is happening?
Goblet of Fire is one of my favorite movies of all time because it reminds me of my mum when my niece was young. She was like 9 at the time. We went to cinema. She loved Harry Potter. It was magical. You didn't really get the portrayal of how evil Voldemort was. You seen like sort of incantations of him in the background and certain stuff like that. And then when Goblet of Fire happens right at the end and Voldemort returned, the whole cinema of people started screaming like it was the most horrific character you'll ever meet. And then when I saw it, I was like, wow. That's a bit dark. And then after that, it just snowballed into like this dark
it really did
movie.
So here's the funny thing. When I saw the Goblet of Fire, I don't know, man, I used to drink a lot, and maybe I drank way too much before I saw it. I don't drink that. I don't really drink anymore. But I had no idea what was happening. And then when Voldemort showed up, I'm like, because I didn't know anything about the books. So I'm like, yo, who is this dude? Why is everybody afraid of him? Like, this pasty dude up here, yo, somebody better go up there and knock him out. Like, I have no idea what's happening.
Who's this pasty guy with no nose dressed in a friggin' big black dress?
I'm like, and even now to this, like, I understand how great Harry Potter is, but even now to this day, I'm like, how are they afraid of this guy? But I tell you,
what do you mean? How are they afraid? He was super powerful. What are you talking about? That's like saying, why are you afraid of Megatron? And he transformed to that gun and shoot you in your forehead. You be like, oh.
I had no. Listen, I think it's because I didn't know the backstory. I knew when I saw.
I didn't know the backstory.
Dude, I had no idea. But I'm gonna tell you who I thought that. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I thought was the meanest dude in the whole world. I thought he was better than Voldemort. My man Snape. When what was it? The Half-Blooded Prince. When he looked at Harry, he was like, how dare you try to use my spells against me? I am the Half-Blooded Prince. I was
Is that the one?
Whoa.
Is that the one with the werewolf?
No, Snake was the guy, he was the dark arts.
No. I know who he is. I'm saying, was that the movie? Remember, which one was Harry Potter and they had a werewolf in it?
Prisoner.
No,
wasn't Prisoner.
I don't think.
Prisoner of Azkaban?
Sirius Black Escapes. Sirius Black Escapes maybe could be the one after Half-Blood Prince.
Well, Obi, I'll say this. I had to say this. You said your TV didn't have the black light, so everything you watch must look like the season finale of Game of Thrones. Yo, I remember the whole world was pissed off because it was so dark. You couldn't see nothing. It was like, what was the point of this?
I just bought a new TV for that, and I was watching it in 4K.
Purple.
the scene that you're on about is called the Battle of the Bastards, for example, right?
Yeah,
I remember watching it, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is going to be so epic!" But all I heard was swords cling, and I was like, "Is it me telly? Is it me stream?" I went on the internet, and everyone was kicking off.
Everybody.
Oh man! So I actually missed that boat, and here's why: I refused to watch Game of Thrones. But check this out: I ended up watching Game of Thrones about a year and a half ago, and when I got into it, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna watch like 2 or 3 episodes. I'm not even making this up. I watched all 8 seasons, I think, in like 21 days. This is where it got real crazy for me. After I want to say, well, I don't know if anybody hasn't seen Game of Thrones. It's too late if you haven't seen it by now, anyway. But Cersei made me smoke cigarettes. I'm not even making this up. So yo, Cersei had me to the point. The first thing all right, so I stopped smoking cigarettes for a very long time. And then when the king, I think his name was Ned, he was like, all right, I'll tell the lie. I'll say it was me. When the king took his head, I was like, yo, this is wild. But then when it really messed me up, I'm not even playing. When I really had to go smoke a cigarette was the Red Wedding. I'm not even playing. I went, we got a place called 7-Eleven. I went to 7-Eleven. I got a pack. I think I smoked 5. I was like, I can't take this.
There's 2 moments. There's 2 moments that I couldn't stand. I couldn't personally take as the person who I am. Was the Red Viper versus the Mountain, when he actually cuts his car up to get on top of him. And I love violence. I love God of War. And he went, and I killed him. And that scream. And then his head just went pop. I had to stand up, walk away for an hour because my brain couldn't process what I've just saw, right? And another time was season 5, the death of Jon Snow. I stood up literally in tears. I kicked a bin, sprayed my foot, and I was just on the floor going, listen. And I'm just being so overwhelmed. And I remember just thinking to myself, and you can't speak to them because you can't spoil it for anyone. And I was like, wait until you feel that emotional.
Yeah. Listen, when John, I'm not even gonna hold you. All right, so the week or the day I saw Jon Snow die, you're gonna laugh. So I don't know if you guys have CNN over there, Holtz. I don't know why you wouldn't have CNN over there, but over here we have a news station called CNN. So I saw the Jon Snow episode. He was murdered, right? And I was like, all right, here we go again. I'm gonna go spark up another cigarette. I come back in, and this is all I hear. It was on CNN, and it was like, we have the true king of the north, and it shows Jon Snow, and I'm like, who the hell is the real? Like, why are they showing Jon Snow? And then it hit me. He's got to come back to life, and I was like, damn, CNN, you ruined it for me. You ruined it. You did it. I was so mad,
going back how to get another ciggy. I hate CNN. CNN made me smoke. It was Cersei.
Yeah, I was so mad over that. But I will say this. I thought the Game of Thrones show was amazing, to be honest with you. I thought it was amazing. Everybody was upset with the final episode. I wasn't.
They dropped the ball. There's
no listen.
I don't care now. When I reflect,
where else are they gonna go? What more?
No. Here's my issue, bro. Each season was like 13 episodes, and then they made the last 2 6. Come on, man. You at the last 2.
The director went to Star Wars.
Even if you give more, go ahead, Holtz.
The directors went to Star Wars, so in the end, there was more story to pad it out for the next 2-3 seasons to make a complete 10 season. And then in the end, the directors and that just went, you know what, we're going to another TV series, and that's where I feel it was rushed.
So
that's all. It was just
came back to life. Purple says when he came back to life, that's when the story went downhill. I'm gonna say this is where the story went downhill. This is where I think the story went downhill.
Well, you just said it was amazing.
Listen. I think the whole show was amazing up until the last season, but I'm not hating on it because I understand there's nowhere else for this story to go. This is where I think it went downhill. Everything was great up until what is going on, Rude Diggs? Good to see you. Everything was great up until the dragon flew by Arya, and Arya cowered like a little coward. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Arya is like the greatest thing next to sliced bread. Her dad was murdered. She learned how to fight. She became the person who
Rose. It was a drag. Your fantasy. It ain't like they could fly and she had superpowers. It was a dragon.
I was on
What did you want? What did you want?
Beat the Dragon King. She beat
What did you want?
the Dragon King. If she
What
sees a
did you-
dragon, this is nothing to her. Did you not
Wait,
just
what-
see the episode before? Did you not see the war that happened? It was like 7 dragons flying, bro.
Rose, sometimes I was actually scared. Right? I was actually scared of certain characters like the Night King and stuff like that. Watching the show, like I wouldn't mess with him. I wouldn't mess with the Mountain. But every time something happened to a direwolf, you knew like the direwolf was going to die. I was shouting at the TV, going, "You mother, you better not touch my direwolf. You better." And I was shouting at the TV, "You acting all brave behind the TV.
Yeah. The Night King. Yeah, she beat the Night King, and that's my point. She is the bad.
You got problems, yo. Something is wrong with your logic. She beat the Night King, so she should have beat a dragon.
Who else could beat the Night King? Who else could beat him? Nobody. They was all afraid. They all knew they was going to certain deaths. She was like, I don't care. I'm going to kill him.
Rose's logic is she beat the Night King, but why does she go still to bed with a candle? She's not scared of the dark. She beat the Night King.
I don't get it. I do not understand it. Now, I will say this. One of the best episodes I saw was and she did that's nah, you know what? I can't with y'all. I'm gonna say this real quick. The best episode I think of Game of Thrones is the episode where they basically tell you what's going on with Hodo and why he's like, Hodo.
Hold the door.
Hold the door. And I was like, whoa.
That was cool, man.
Dope episode.
You know what? So wait. Did you guys watch not to switch gears, did you guys watch House of Dragons? Because I just finished that a couple weeks ago.
No, I have yet to watch it, but I'm okay with you spoiling it for me because I don't listen. I'm gonna say this. I don't think I'm gonna enjoy it. I really don't think I'm gonna enjoy it. And I think I'm going to wait for everything to be done because I want to see how many seasons. Like, if I see House of Dragon is starting to get to 5 seasons, I'm going to be like, okay, I'll catch up. But I don't think it's going to last more than 3 seasons, especially with everything else everybody's starting to take on now. I don't think it's going to happen.
But Rose, going to that Bran part, I hated Bran. He was a little whining, little, because any wards and stuff like that. But when I seen the scenes, like what he done to the Mad King, because he gave him the vision, and what he done to Hodor, I was like, wow, Bran, you've got consequences in what you're doing, and you're actually effing the whole world up. It's actually you. And when he at the end season, when he was acting, I am, the three-eyed raven. He seemed like really badass, and he was like, I'm not messing with you anymore. What happens? His character developed into such powerful behind the scene character.
Holtz, my craziest story with Bran is when we started watching Game of Thrones, right? We watched 6 seasons in 4 weeks, all right? And we watched it and flew through it just to be on time for season 7. Now, the crazy thing is when you watch a show, you get a whole year, you got to wait for the next season, right? So because we're just pressing play after 1 season, it must have been when Bran hit a growth spurt. Yo, we like season end, next episode, and we was like, yo, who the hell is that? Like, who is that? Why is he so tall? Because we watched it so fast and didn't realize a whole year went by. My man hit his growth spurt. It was the craziest thing that he was a little boy 5 minutes ago, and 5 minutes later we're on the next episode and he's like real tall.
Yeah, he just bang. Yeah. Yo, that's funny because when you think about the Rocky movie, it kind of works the same way. I think in Rocky 3, when he fights Apollo Creed, his son is 6 months old. The next Rocky opens 6 months later, and it's literally his son is in the 12th grade. It's like, oh, wait, what? And it's this is literally, they're like, oh, this is 4 years after he fought Apollo Creed. Wait a minute. How did the kid age? Oh, man, that's so hilarious. But
you ever become biased towards characters when they've changed the image? Like when you see Jon Snow, he had short hair at the start and stuff like that. And then when you see him go as long hair and beard, you're like, that's not my Jon Snow. Then you become to like the characters, how they evolve and looks. And then you start going, oh, yeah, he looks really good. Or
I'll
she
say
looks
this.
really...
I'm loving. I mean, I've seen Wednesday already. I love it. I think Jennifer Ortega is a very beautiful woman. I think she's awesome in that role. I don't think I want to see her with blonde hair. There's certain other roles like that, like John Travolta, and I'm not mad that he had a toupee. Like, he's got to deal with that. We go bald, it happens, right? But like, it's hard for me to watch John Travolta when he was like really, really young and like Saturday Night Fever, opposed to when I first saw him in Pulp Fiction, opposed to anything he's doing now. It's like, I can't do it. Same thing with like Bruce Willis. It was hard for me to watch anything he did after the 90s because his image himself, and he just changed as a person. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of hard. It's like, I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, it makes sense. If you get fixated on a character, and then when they switch them, when they switch up their look in a different role. But I think what's good is when characters don't get typecasted, because that's one of the worst things is when a character is the same as that character, in
They said
every
that
movie.
about Will
Some
Smith. You know what's funny? I was telling myself, I was like, man, today at the end of the show, I'm going to need a question to ask everybody to close the show out. And I was like, well, last week we did a Will Smith movie, but now you're bringing up typecast. And I'm thinking about Will Smith because somebody said to me one day, they were like, Will Smith doesn't act. That's who he is every day and every day. Like, they're like, that's the same person in like real. And I was like, really? And they're like, he plays the same character in every role. And I'm like, I don't really see it.
Well, the biggest shocking character development and change that I didn't like, but I understand, and it's got nothing to do with the movie. It was Metal Gear Solid 4. Metal Gear Solid 4, and there's a scene in Metal Gear Solid 4 where Naomi takes old Snake's clothes off and to see what happened to the fox guy. And she's so horrified, and she's like, Snake, you're only supposed to be about 29 or so. And I remember being in so much shock where I was like, what have we done to him? What have we all done to our boy Snake?
So, speaking of Metal Gear Solid 4, man, I'll tell you what, and you've heard me say it before, like that was one of the games that made me cry. I cried 2 times in Metal Gear Solid 4, one with Raiden, and then the second time, and I think I cried for 2 different reasons. The second time, when you got to crawl through the incinerator, and you literally, I'm being so serious. My wife, she was my girlfriend at the time. I literally was like, I need you to push X. But I'm watching him, and you're watching the fight, and like Snake is like burning to pieces, and you're like, I'm literally a mess. And I'm like,
when you see all like the old characters, like he's like when Hal's like, oh, I love you and all this, and it was just, and then even the fight at the end where they're just giving like these epic dialogues, but you can see that they're like the fight to the death. I just thought.
Yeah, I want to ask you this, since you brought up Metal Gear Solid 4. And guys, we kind of got away from the show today, but it doesn't matter. We're having a blast. That's what it's about. We're here for an hour to get you home, and we just enjoy the rest of the night. So check it out, Hopes. Metal Gear Solid 4, because you brought it up. What was the hardest part for you in that game? Cowboy, if you played it, I want you to answer it too.
I don't think I can't remember being actually challenged by Metal Gears, because that was like sort of when I was in my prime gaming, and I was so used to sort of stealth mechanics and all that kind of mechanics that was in Metal Gear Solid. So I wouldn't sit there and say it was as challenging where I can sit there and remember a point where it was being too hard. But there's loads of set pieces that I can remember. There's loads of amazing stories, but I don't actually think it was challenging to the point where I was like sort of shaking the controller like other games that came afterwards did.
I see what you're saying, where you like to the point of frustration. Okay, so what was your favorite cut scene from Metal Gear Solid 4?
Well, like I said, what you just said there, the incinerator. When his health came down, like I said, when Naomi takes off his jacket, and like I said, that shock factor of he really is an old man, and then because he's like he gets a cigarette, and he was like, that's gonna kill me. He's like, so is everything else, and he's like, something like that. He's like,
yo, I hope we get that on a I would play that as a remaster. Oh, I would love that so much. Cowboy, what's your favorite part or hardest challenging thing in Metal Gear Solid 4?
I don't know. I mean, I play everything on easy, so
okay. Ideal says that long ladder was and chat, you guys can answer this too. I'll post your comments. He says that long ladder was the hardest part in the beginning, or your favorite scene in the game.
Well, that was free. That wasn't it? Snake Eater.
That fight was amazing. That fight was amazing. I want you to know that fight on a PlayStation 3, when I first saw that, was just like, boom. But
it's the same as the epicness. Naked Snake, when he's got the boss title, but he hasn't got the big boss title, and he fights his mentor, Big Boss. Yeah. She's like, for soldiers like us, we don't have countries and we don't have this, and they'll backstab you. And he's like, but I have to take you down, Big Boss. And then it's like, the fight, and I remember like I just didn't want to push the buttons, and they had that lovely fields of like white orchids and stuff like that, and I
You just want to see it. Yeah.
I just couldn't do it. I just felt like it was breaking me every time, and I was like, this game's getting to me.
Purple, listen, I want to throw this out to you. I want to throw this out here to you. Listen, I need you to do me a favor. I don't know how you're gonna do it. PlayStation, you got. Oh, actually, I think it's on Xbox now too. But I don't think they have the collection. But Purple, I need you to play. If I need you to do anything in life, I need you to play 2 games. I need you to play Metal Gear Solid 4 ASAP. You have to play that game. And then I gotta go with Metal Gear Solid 3 right behind.
You know what's crazy with the Metal Gears is I was never a big fan, but they were such a big talking point. So I wanted to play them just to play them. And of course I had GameFly, so I was able to just rent them. But I kind of like played it just to beat it, to be kind of like part of the conversation or actually see if it was that good. You know, if it would like really pull me in. I just never was a big fan of me when I think of stealthy stuff. I was a big fan of Tenchu Stealth Assassin, you know, a ninja, stuff like that. Snake really never did it for me. But
so you're telling me you would take Sam Fisher over Snake? Before you answer that, I want to throw this out there really quick.
Well,
I'm just gonna throw this out there. My hardest part in Metal Gear Solid 4 was when you're fighting Vamp and you got to stick them with the nano machines. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that for like. I'm not lying when I say this. I didn't understand that for almost 8 hours. Like y'all was so broke. Now I wasn't like about to break the controller, but I'm like, what am I supposed to do here?
All iterations of Snake is one of my best characters in like gaming history because, like I said, I love Solid Snake. I mean, I didn't really like the idea of Big Boss, which is Naked Snake, because what he done in Metal Gear Solid 1. Then when he brought the backstory in Metal Gear 3 and then Metal Gear 5. I just fell in love with his character and why he was a hero to everyone. And then that's why the sort of, you can see where Solid Snake inspires to be like him in every way without actually knowing that he could have been that same character if he went down a certain path or he didn't have friends like Hal or stuff like that. And that's why I actually think to myself, it's just amazing. And then I'm in the second game, I was like, oh, who's this Raiden little blonde-haired cybernetic? I hate him. He just done me.
Before we get Johnny, like, who's this Johnny dude?
And then as you find out, as you start warming up to the character in the story, you start being in awe of these characters. Like, go Raiden, go Johnny, go Meryl,
go Meryl, go Meryl.
And you think to yourself, and I just didn't want it to end, but that's what I love. That all good things have to come to an end, and I feel like the story just come to a, you know.
Raiden was more my speed. I'm more of the hack and slash guy. So the slow, methodical game, I wasn't into Metal Gear like that. And the funny thing is, I never played a Splinter Cell ever. Like, I just had no interest in Splinter Cell. The slow character sneaking around, I was like, yeah, no, I'm not even touching that. So
I've always wanted to have this debate with, and I mean, like, I want to debate this among like 20 people. Who was better, Sam Fisher or Solid Snake?
Solid Snake.
I'm
saying.
I don't
know. The way he knows close quarter. The way he knows close quarter combat and stuff like that, he's been trained from all like war from around the world. He knows all that kind of stuff. Sam Fisher's just like an American operative. That's like
operative mercenary, right?
Yeah,
he only takes.
I'm not saying that he doesn't go through crap. I'm just trying to say it's not the same.
Not burning
sort of skill set, should I say?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Listen, I will say this. I think we're getting a new. I'm excited. Like, I like the stealthy games. I feel like you got to break it up. Like, you got to have some first-person shooters. You got to have some fighting games. You got to have some single-player story games, and you got to have some stealthy games. I will say though, and I have to say this: while Metal Gear and Splinter Cell, they're great stealth games. The best stealth action game of all time, and I die on this hill. And when I tell you I hate this game and I'll never play it again, and I do have the platinum on it, I want to plug that. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice.
Wow.
Greatest stealth game of all time. I hate it.
It's a knockoff Tenchu Stealth Assassin. Just saying.
You're crazy.
And I was playing Sekiro yesterday.
Let me
Just
tell you
saying.
something. Let me tell you
Well, to
something.
me, I used to love stealth mechanics. Like I said, the games. I used to sit there and soak on. I'm like Team Alpha, go to Foxtrot and lighten them up. You know what I mean? I just sit there and take my
Team
time.
Alpha,
And,
go to Foxtrot.
you know what I mean? I used to take my time, like, you know what I mean? Here's the money shop. And I used to love all that. Move forward, let's go, and be undetected. And or even I could sense you. I just love getting that, like, award at the end because I was so skilled. Now I'm like, I can't do stealth. I'm just so impatient that I want to finish the game. And now I'm like, every time there's a stealth mechanic in a game, I'm like, just let me run in there and blow his head off. There's no repercussion. There's no repercussion.
That's
Just
me.
go in and go.
That's me.
We're laughing at Cowboy's probably laughing at his own comment. I can't believe he said this, Holtz. He really said Sekiro was a knockoff Tenchu.
It really is when you play it. If you play, like I was playing it yesterday, I literally said that on screen. I'm like, man, now that's not a bad thing because Tenchu was amazing. But yeah, when you play it, you're like, man, this feels like.
I agree with Cowboy because Tenchu was the pinnacle of that. Remember all the stuff that you could have done, where you could scale up the wall, run, like, who goes there, and you're like,
yeah. I want to say this, Cowboy. I challenge you. I'm doing an open challenge. You know, every time Cowboy come on, I gotta mess with him. I gotta say something to him. Cowboy, since Sekiro is just like Tenchu Z, won't you prove it to us by beating it? It will take you one. We'll give you know what? We'll be generous. We'll give you 3
so here's the thing: Tenchu was not a Souls game. This is a Souls game, so it's two different things.
No. So. This is not a Souls game because the title Souls is not in the game. It's not called Sekiro Souls. It's called Sekiro Shadows.
So then is Elden Ring a Souls game?
Yeah,
is Elden Ring a Souls game?
No. Well, no, it's not. Elden Ring is not a Souls game. You want to know why? The same way Bloodborne is not a Souls game. Do you want to know why? Because in Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, guess what? They have the word souls in their title. Talk to anybody in the Dark Souls.
No, come on.
Yeah. All right, so host.
To me, it's a Souls game. Bloodborne was a Souls. And it's like, we've been inspired by like Castlevania, for example. Or, you know, stuff like, we don't have to have Castlevania to call it a Castlemania game. For example, too, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Well, let me say this, Rose. I do have to go. I pushed my thing back, but I as I was driving, I was coming home late because I left work early, so I pushed my stream back. And as I'm talking, I kept pushing it back. I'm like, all right, I pushed it back to 6. I kind of got to go. But dude, thanks for having me on. Now you can talk about wrestling because I know you want to ruin it for me.
No. That'll be on next Wednesday. We'll wait until next Wednesday because wherever we get, you know what I mean. But before you go, I need you to tell us real quick. What are you doing tonight?
Oh man, so I'm doing something cool that I really feel for me, and this is just for me, and whoever watch it is cool. But regardless of how Stadia ended, Stadia was a big part of my life for close to 3 years. I poured blood, sweat, and tears into Stadia, and I love Stadia for my own personal reasons. I had my own issues when I was fell out of love with Stadia. So for me, I decided I'm gonna stream Stadia every day until it closes, and so I'm calling it the 30 days of Stadia games and entertainment. And I'm just gonna pick Stadia games and play them. So yesterday I played a bunch of games. Sekiro was one of them. Pac-Man. I mean, you name it. So today I'm gonna play a whole bunch of other games and just enjoy Stadia. I'll probably do it for about an hour. And then I got 2 streams tonight because my Gamefly came in. I got Evil West. And so I will be doing a first impressions video after I finish my Stadia Games and Entertainment stream on Evil West.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Beans, one more thing before you leave.
Yes, sir.
You leave. I want you to help me highlight Ron Slusher. He says, it's true. He has the right angle, he has the acute angle, he has the obtuse angle, and he has the Kurt angle. I want to know real quick, before you leave, who's your favorite wrestler? And Ideal, I agree with you. If Stadia got Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I promise you, they would have shut the competition down.
No, because people would have said that whole game. That's what everybody would have said. But my favorite wrestler of all time is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Ooh, I can dig it.
Yep.
Make sure you come back next Wednesday. You can be part of the wrestling chat. Yes, Rock, I'm going to answer your question. We're about to end the show. We're going on an hour. I try to stream for typically an hour. I will say this before I sign off. If there's something that you were waiting for me to talk about, you can quickly throw it in the chat and we'll get that conversation going really quick, but we will definitely continue it next week. There goes my alarm. Yeah, check that out. So yeah, hey, listen, I want you to enjoy your show, Cowboy. Thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate you. Holtz, I appreciate you coming out today. Holtz, do you have any final words before we leave? Oh wait, Holtz, I didn't ask you. Dude, who's your favorite wrestler? If you watch
once again, in the past, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I just loved the rattlesnake. I loved his attitude. I loved the move set is, his Texas talk back and all that stuff he used to do. You know what I mean? He used to call everyone boys and the finger gestures, all that kind of stuff. I used to eat that up back in the day.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you this, Rock. I am so sorry. Yeah, I usually stream between 5 and 6. On Mondays though, coming up, I'm gonna be streaming to like 6:30. Because we're back on Monday Night Fights. So you can come be a part of that. Come talk. We have good conversation. Same kind of format, except for we don't do any news. He says Steve Austin, and then we're getting GSP is the best wrestler. We're getting
also except even though I did like that, I also like the rivalry of like Kane and Undertaker. I used to love the way oh my God, he's got buried alive, his own brother, and stuff like that. And then he used to come back, and I used to eat it up as a kid, going, how did he get out of that? Or once again, Undertaker with Mankind. I used to love all the Hell in the Cell and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hardcore match. And then as I grew up, I started loving the comedy, was it Farouk and Bradshaw? The AP.
Oh yeah, the APA, the acolyte.
I used to love all that kind of comedy, the Dudley brothers, get a table and stuff like that. So even though I did love a certain character because they were badass, I also loved characters because of this sort of comic relief they brought to the. It was like the little Holly brother.
Oh, Bob Holly. Bob Holly. They were the NASCAR drivers. Sparky Bob Holly. Yeah.
He didn't really look like a wrestler, but it was like, come on, let's nice and loved it. All that.
It's like, yo, this guy doesn't belong here. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, guys, we are coming up on time. It has been 1 hour, one good hour spent. I want to thank my guest Holtz. I want to thank my guest Cowboy for coming in. I want to thank all you guys who showed up in the chat. You guys know what I love to say. Holtz, any final words before we go?
If I don't see you then, have a good season. Have a good holiday season, should I say.
Yes, everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. If I don't speak to you guys, actually, I won't see you guys until the day after Christmas. I'm not going to stream on Monday. I just realized I'm actually off on Monday, so I'm going to take the time to rest and recuperate. We'll come back Tuesday, and we'll do a new show on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we'll resume fighting. Oh, wait, we got back-to-back weeks because we got New Year's as well. So, yeah, we'll figure it out, guys. Just keep it out there. We'll be there. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Yes, as everybody is saying, I'm glad everybody can make it. You guys know what I love to say. Life is a game, so make sure you play. Holtz, are you going to hang out in the back for a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right, cool beans. Holtz, as soon as I'm done this, just give me 2 seconds. I need to go unlock the door. All right, brother? Yeah, I said that live. All right, guys, hold on for 2 seconds. Hold on. All right, everybody, y'all have a good one. It was glad you could make it. Hold on, guys. I'll see y'all in the next one. Holtz, I'll catch you in a few minutes.
Hey, what's going on, guys? That was so much fun. We had a blast. We got to get through it. We got to play some video games. We got to have some good conversation. There was a bunch of energy. It was awesome. Yo, I had a blast. I hope you guys had a blast. I'm very humbled because you could have been anywhere else, but you chose to spend this time with me, so I'm very, very grateful. If you want to see more content like this, it's very simple. All you got to do is like, comment, and please subscribe. If you want to go ahead and you want to throw a tip in the tip jar, that's simple as well. All you have to do is check the description. The link is in the description. Any and all tips are appreciated. Until I see you on the next time, God bless you, and you have a wonderful day. Peace.